You are surrounded, but you don't see the walls. Every glance, every word, every silence, someone is measuring you. They watch the way you wait, the way you explain, the way you bend. And the cruelest truth is this: the moment you try to win their approval, you've already lost control. This is the hidden battlefield. No guns, no swords, only perception, leverage, and silence. The weak play loud, the powerful play still. And today, you will see the rules they never wanted you to discover. In minutes, you'll know how Machiavelli himself would outsmart everyone in your world. Rule 1. Doctrine, not quotes. This is not about recycled sayings, nor about the shallow wisdom of quotes scattered across social media like empty shells. Quotes are for those who seek comfort in fragments, who want quick doses of borrowed courage, but never the full meal of transformation. What you are about to encounter is not inspiration, it is doctrine. Doctrine is different. It is not meant to decorate your thoughts. It is meant to rewire them. It doesn't speak to the surface of who you are, but reaches into the marrow, carving out weakness and etching in steel. Doctrine is not repeated. It is lived, embodied, enforced. And once you accept it, you do not return to who you were before, because the old self is too fragile to survive within these laws. This is psychological warfare for the modern age, a world where battles are fought not with swords but with influence, presence, perception, and control. It is not the loudest voice that wins anymore. It is the one who manipulates silence, the one who controls what others think you mean without ever saying it. In a time where everyone shouts their truths, power belongs to the one who can craft shadows so sharp that people fear stepping into them. Doctrine is the architecture of these shadows. It builds the frame of dominance that others unknowingly walk into. Understand this: what follows is not a guide for the many, but a weapon for the few. These rules were never meant for the soft, the easily swayed, or those addicted to being liked. They are for the rare ones who dare to command, who see human interaction not as random chance, but as a battlefield where every word, every pause, every gesture is a strike or a shield. This is not kindness dressed as strength. It is strength revealed in its raw, unapologetic form. 13 lessons stand before you, and each one is a blade sharper than the last. They will not coddle you. They will cut you first, stripping you of illusions until only the core remains. Then, and only then, can you wield them. Once mastered, these laws will not only protect you from manipulation, but will allow you to bend others without their awareness. You are not reading wisdom. You are being armed. Rule 2. The mask of weakness. Appear small. Appear harmless. In a world obsessed with appearances, the greatest advantage is to disguise your true weight. When people think they can see through you, when they believe they have measured your depth and found it shallow, that is when you are safest. To be feared too soon invites resistance. To be admired too quickly invites envy. But to be underestimated? That is the purest form of camouflage. It allows you to move freely, to study your enemies, to observe without provoking suspicion. The weak are ignored, and in that invisibility, the strong prepare their strike. The mask of weakness is not surrender, it is strategy. It is the art of lowering yourself so others lean closer, thinking they tower above you. And the higher they believe themselves to be, the harder they fall when the mask is removed. You do not fight for attention, nor demand respect prematurely. Instead, you cultivate the illusion of harmlessness until the stage is set. The truth is simple. The sharpest predator never reveals its fangs until the prey has already wandered within reach. When their guard lowers, when they believe you hold no weapon, that is when your presence begins to expand, filling the room without resistance. Your silence becomes louder than their noise. Your stillness becomes more commanding than their frantic motion. And then they realize, too late, that the shadow they dismissed was not weakness at all, but waiting power. There is no greater shock than to see someone you dismissed rise suddenly above you, their influence already woven while you weren't watching. Power that hides is power that survives. The unhidden flame draws enemies eager to extinguish it. The concealed ember, however, burns unnoticed, gathering strength until it becomes a fire too large to smother. This is survival disguised as humility, and survival is not weakness. It is the groundwork of victory. Those who flaunt their strength early burn out. Those who protect it beneath a mask endure long enough to use it when it matters most. Rule 3. The Hidden Prince. If the great tactician of power were alive in this modern age, he would not parade himself in the marketplace of attention. He would not scatter his genius across books, nor waste his presence in endless speeches or lectures. Instead, he would rule silently, from behind veils and curtains where the eyes of the masses could never reach. For true influence does not shout. It whispers, moves in shadows, and allows others to believe the ideas are their own. The one who commands without standing in the spotlight is the one who truly governs. The world today worships visibility. Status is measured by followers, validation by likes, authority by volume. Everyone is desperate to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized. Yet this hunger blinds them, makes them predictable, fragile, and easily manipulated. To seek constant visibility is to expose your vulnerabilities to those who would exploit them. But the hidden prince understands that domination does not require presence. It requires precision. The most powerful hand is the one unseen, the one that pulls strings while remaining outside the stage. No noise, no announcements, only outcomes. This is the doctrine of the unseen ruler. Imagine walking into a room where decisions are already made, alliances already shifted, power already redistributed, all without knowing who moved the pieces. That is true mastery, the ability to bend reality without leaving fingerprints. Those who seek fame may enjoy applause, but applause fades. Those who master invisibility enjoy permanence, for no one knows where to strike. Invisibility is not absence, it is strategy. It allows you to build networks others cannot detect, to influence decisions others believe are spontaneous, to shift perceptions without ever attaching your name to them. When victory comes, it appears inevitable, as though the world itself bent naturally in our favor. The masses search for the hand that guided events, but it is never found, and this mystery only deepens your control. Domination through invisibility is the highest form of rule. The prince who hides is never targeted, never envied, never attacked directly, because no one sees him coming, and by the time they realize he was there all along, it is already too late. Rule 4. The tyranny of appearances. People do not care for truth. Truth is heavy, complex, and often unwanted. What people truly care about is what they see, what they believe they see, and what they are led to see. Perception outweighs reality, and in the theater of power, the stage matters more than the script. Control the stage, control the costume, control the lighting. And you do not just shape the story, you dictate the judgment. The masses will never study the machinery behind the curtain. They are content with the spectacle. Outcomes may decide history, but appearances rule the present moment. A victory without spectacle is soon forgotten, but an illusion wrapped in grandeur becomes legend. The wise understand this. Conceal the gears, the effort, the blood that fuels your rise, and present only the polished mask that others are willing to follow. It is not deceit, it is strategy, for power does not belong to the one who is most capable, but to the one who looks most capable. Appearances are a weapon sharper than steel. People will forgive failure if it is hidden behind dignity, yet they will scorn success if it arrives clothed in clumsiness. This is the tyranny of appearances. You are not judged by what you are, but by what you project. Those who resist this law fall prey to those who embrace it. Therefore, master illusion. Feed them images that flatter their desires and fears, and they will never question the truth behind them. Reality can be controlled only by those who understand that people do not live in reality. They live in appearances. Rule 5. Silence as a weapon. Never rush to fill the air with words. The weak feel compelled to explain, to justify, to chatter until their meaning is lost. But silence is heavier than sound. It lingers. It presses against the mind of others, forcing them to fill the void with their own fears and interpretations. A single pause can weigh more than an entire speech, because the imagination of your opponent will always make your silence far more powerful than your words. A delayed reply unsettles them. They wonder why you hesitate, what you are thinking, what power you are hiding. In their impatience, they reveal more than you ever asked for. They speak too much, expose their intentions, confess their weaknesses, all because you withheld. Silence is not absence, it is control. The one who speaks less dictates the rhythm, and the one who dictates the rhythm rules the interaction. When you do speak, each word must strike like a blade, not soothe like a cushion. Say little, but let that little echo with weight. A measured word delivered after silence will sound louder, sharper, more deliberate than endless streams of noise. In this way, your language becomes scarce, and scarcity always creates value. Understand, silence is not weakness. It is presence refined into pressure. It forces others to bend beneath the weight of their own uncertainty while you conserve strength. In silence, your power grows unseen, while theirs unravels in nervous chatter. The one who cannot master silence will always be controlled by the one who can. Rule 6. Ambiguity and fear. Confusion is not weakness, it is strategy. To be perfectly clear is to be predictable, and the predictable can be controlled. But when you cloak yourself in ambiguity, when your motives are never fully revealed, others are forced to orbit you, circling endlessly, trying to decipher what cannot be solved. Ambiguity keeps them off balance. It denies them certainty, and in that denial, their own minds turn against them. The brilliance of ambiguity is that it requires no direct action. Your silence, your half-answers, your subtle shifts in tone, these are enough to make others question what you mean, what you want, and what you intend. They begin to invent explanations, and in doing so, they construct their own traps. Their paranoia grows not because you declared war, but because you suggested the possibility of it. A look, a pause, an unfinished sentence. These can plant more fear than 1,000 threats. Fear does not need to be shouted. It does not need to be explained. It only needs to be hinted at, breathed into the edges of conversation, left to fester in the imagination of others. And imagination is always crueler than reality. They will imagine punishments worse than you could ever design, simply because they do not know what is real and what is not. Ambiguity makes you untouchable. When no one can pin down your intentions, they cannot prepare for them. When they cannot predict your next move, they cannot defend against it. To master fear, you do not need open aggression. You need only to leave them guessing. Rule 7. Shifting allegiances. Do not bind yourself with chains of permanent loyalty. To tie your fate to one side is to surrender your freedom of movement, and in power, movement is everything. Appear neutral, detached, even harmless, while beneath the surface you calculate. Neutrality is not weakness, it is camouflage. It lulls both friend and foe into lowering their guard. They think you are safe, dependable, predictable. That illusion is your shield until the moment neutrality itself becomes your sharpest weapon. Let enemies feel safe near you. When they believe you belong to no camp, they expose themselves, speaking openly in your presence, underestimating your ability to strike. At the same time, let allies feel uneasy, uncertain of where your true loyalties lie. Their fear of losing you will keep them cautious, restrained, and desperate to prove their value. In this tension, you are the one who holds control, because both sides compete for a loyalty that you never truly give. You are with everyone, and with no one. You move like smoke, impossible to contain, impossible to predict. The unpredictable figure is never betrayed, because betrayal requires expectation. When no one knows where you stand, no one can corner you, and no one can strike at a foundation that does not exist. True loyalty flows not to the loudest supporter, but to the figure who remains untouchable, the one who commands respect through mystery. Shifting allegiances is not treachery, it is survival. And survival, in a world of shifting power, is the only loyalty that matters. Rule 8. Dependency by design. Every favor is a leash, whether they see it or not. Every gift is a chain, delicate in appearance but unbreakable in effect. When you give, you are not being generous. You are planting hooks. Gratitude fades quickly, but dependency endures. The one who cannot move without your guidance, the one who cannot decide without your approval, is no longer free. They have surrendered their will, piece by piece, until it belongs to you. When they depend on your presence, you own their absence. Their thoughts circle you when you are not there. Their choices bend toward what you might approve of, even without your voice. This is the quiet power of dependency. You rule without speaking, because they have already internalized your influence. They need you more than they admit, and once need is established, control follows effortlessly. The clever ruler does not seek love or loyalty. Those are fleeting, unstable, easily corrupted. Instead, design situations where others rely on you to stand, to move, to breathe within the structures of power. A well-timed favor here, a carefully positioned resource there, and suddenly their survival is linked to your presence. To abandon you would be to collapse. This is not kindness. This is architecture. Dependency is the scaffolding on which your rule is built. When they cannot imagine progress without you, you have already won. To rule others, you do not need chains of iron. You need invisible bonds, and the strongest bond of all is need. Rule 9. The architecture of debt. Favors are never kindness, they are currency. To the unwise, a favor feels like generosity, a gesture of goodwill. But to the strategist, every favor is an investment, a loan disguised as benevolence. Gratitude may wither quickly, but debt endures. It does not fade with time, it grows heavier in silence. The art lies not in demanding repayment immediately, but in letting the weight of obligation ferment. Remind them of what they owe, not with constant pressure, but with subtle cues, precise and sparing. A glance, a phrase, a carefully timed pause is often enough to awaken guilt or unease. You do not need to demand. They will remind themselves over and over until repayment becomes inevitable. And when they will pay more than you ever gave. Keep your ledger hidden, but never forget what is written there. To reveal your accounting openly would make you look petty, but to conceal it makes you appear above such things, while quietly keeping every detail sharp in memory. Others may forget the weight of the debt they carry. You must never forget. Their forgetfulness makes them vulnerable, for the day you choose to collect will always come as a surprise. Debt is power because it is invisible. It binds not with force, but with guilt, with a lingering sense of imbalance. A man who owes is never free, no matter how much he smiles. Build your empire not on fleeting gratitude, but on carefully layered obligations, each one tightening the net until escape is no longer possible. Rule 10. Damage from within. The strongest walls are not broken from the outside, they are dismantled from within. An enemy prepared for open attack is ready with defenses, but few prepare for the rot that spreads silently, unseen, until the foundation crumbles beneath their feet. Strike not with loud assaults or direct confrontation, instead corrupt from the inside. A fortress collapses not because its stones are shattered, but because its bricks have been quietly loosened one by one until collapse is inevitable. To damage from within is to turn patience into a weapon. You plant doubts, sow rivalries, whisper possibilities that fracture unity. You do not need to swing the blade. You only need to place it in their hands and let them cut each other. A divided alliance is weaker than a conquered one because it destroys itself with its own energy, believing the threat is external while the infection spreads inside. The brilliance of this approach is in its cleanliness. Let rivals consume each other. Let suspicion rot trust until their bonds snap under pressure. While they unravel, your hands remain stainless. No one blames the silent observer who only watched events unfold. Yet every collapse bears your invisible fingerprint. Victory is sweetest when it looks accidental. When others destroy themselves, your rise appears natural, inevitable, even deserved. You inherit power without appearing to seek it. And in this illusion, no one sees you as the aggressor. They see you as the survivor, the one left standing when all else has fallen. That is the perfection of power, to win without striking, to conquer without exposing your hand. Rule 11. The specter of consequence. Do not waste your strength on loud threats. Threats are noise, and noise is weakness. Those who must shout about their power betray their insecurity, for true danger does not declare itself. It lingers quietly, unspoken yet undeniable, like thunder waiting inside a distant storm. Let fear carry your voice. Let silence do your speaking. The most terrifying enemy is not the one who rages openly, but the one who sits in calm stillness, smiling faintly, leaving only one question burning in the minds of others. What happens if I cross him? To punish too quickly is to release tension before it matures. A swift blow relieves fear, but to delay punishment is to double its power. Let them stew in uncertainty, replaying every word, every action, every possibility of retribution. In that waiting, dread grows larger than reality. Fear of the unknown is a blade that cuts deeper than any strike, because it never leaves their imagination. Their nerves unravel, their confidence erodes, and their strength falters long before you lift a hand. The unseen hand is always more feared than the revealed blade. A weapon shown can be measured, its edge studied, its reach calculated. But a threat never defined has no limit. It could be near or far, sudden or delayed, mild or catastrophic. That uncertainty is the breeding ground of submission. Understand this. Your aim is not constant punishment, but constant possibility. When every move against you feels like it might trigger unseen consequences, hesitation becomes their instinct. You do not need to dominate through endless strikes. You dominate through presence, and in that invisible presence, they will fear you more than any open display of power. Rule 12. The system and the phantom. At the true peak of power, you are no longer just a person. You are a system. Individuals can be challenged, resisted, even destroyed. But a system is untouchable. It becomes the air people breathe, the walls they lean against, the rules they follow without ever questioning why. To reach this level, you must strip away the anchors that make you mortal, your name, your face, your singular identity. For as long as you remain a visible figure, you remain a target. But when you dissolve into something larger, you become unavoidable, untouchable, eternal. The greatest power is to exist like a law, everywhere but nowhere. No one argues with gravity. No one rebels against the sunrise. They accept it, obey it, and build their lives around it. When you ascend beyond personality and merge into structure, you achieve the same effect. People do not oppose you directly. Instead, they adapt to you, rearranging their choices to fit your unseen shape. This is the transformation from ruler to phantom. You no longer govern by decree, you govern by inevitability. Your presence is felt not in your words, but in the invisible framework others move within. Rivals cannot strike you because they cannot find you. They cannot destroy you because there is nothing to kill. A shadow that governs without being touched is the highest form of dominance. To no longer be seen as a man, but as the system itself, is to ensure survival beyond time. While names fade and faces die, the phantom remains, untouchable, unavoidable, and inescapable. Rule 13, the closing seal. This is the doctrine of the unseen. 13 rules of Machiavelli reborn for a modern age. Do not chase applause. Do not fight for validation. Let others live in noise, in chaos, in hunger for recognition. You remain still, remain hidden, remain untouchable. Power belongs to the one no one can see coming.